Welcome back, my lovely students, grade 1 and grade 2. Uh, Today's lesson is lesson 3 of chapter 4, which talk about how do scientists use tools and stay safe. Tools here means scientific tools, not like your tools. You can use tools like pencil, like pen, like ruler, like book, like notebook to help you to study well. So scientists also use some tools, but scientific tools, to make them do experiments and measure things. So in this video, we will know together what scientific tools are and how do scientists stay safe as well when they do experiments. Follow me and focus because the lesson will be interesting, you will enjoy. Let's start. Let me first remember you about science skills. In the previous lessons, we talked about skills of science, which are predict, follow rules, ask questions, and observe, follow scientific methods. And one of these skills is use tools. So today we will know together how does scientists use tools to measure and make experiments.
Scientists use many different kinds of tools. A tool is something that is used to do work. A hand lens is a tool that helps a scientist observe things up close. Some scientists use tools to stay safe too. A bee scientist wears a face cover and a body cover. There are many different tools to help you learn. A balance is a tool that measures how much matter an object has. A measuring cup is a tool that measures volume. Scientists are careful when using tools. They measure things more than once to be sure their measurements are correct. You too should be careful when observing. Do the following. Listen to your teacher's instructions. Never taste or smell materials. Handle all tools carefully. And wash your hands well after every activity. Following rules like these will help to keep you safe. Got it? Sure you do.
So the video shows you what are kind of tools that scientists use and how they can stay safe as well. So we will explore together the tools and its functions in details. At your right hand side here, some tools. At your left hand side, what are tools definitions and how they can help us to measure. In the beginning, let me tell you, tool is an object used to do work. Like I said, you can use some tools to help you to study, like pencil, like pen, like ruler. And here is the scientific tools that scientists use to do scientific work. You can use tools to observe. Some kind of tools are used to observe something. Tools can help you measure volume, temperature, length, distance, and mass. So tools can help you collect and record data. In this
Which
video,
tool works best? A tool is something that is used to do work. Some tools help to measure objects. Measure the thickness of the book. It is 4 centimeters. Measure the height of the desk. It is 70 centimeters. Measure the length of the chalkboard. It is 3.2 meters long.
so here in this video, you know how to use the tools to measure things, and after you measure these things you can record them in the table like you see here in the video. So one of the skills of the scientist is to use tools and then record the measurements. Turning to another slide in our lesson, I will show you some tools and their usage as well. Scientists use tools to measure and make observation about nature and life, like we said and explained in the previous slide. I will show you some tools and their usage, like I said. Starting with the first tool here, hand lens. Hand lens is used to enlarge object. It doesn't enlarge objects as much as microscope. It's easier to carry through. So scientists use hand lens to enlarge objects. A second tool is safety goggles. Scientists, when they do experiment inside the laboratory, they wear safety goggles. So they wear safety goggles to keep their eyes safe. Another tool is gloves. Scientists wear gloves when they do experiment to protect their hands. Here another tool as well is the balance. Triple beam balance is a scientific balance to determine object mass. You have to know the parts of the balance. Balance have base and band, triple beams, etc. It is used to determine object mass as well. Continue tools in this video. One of the tools is thermometer. You know that thermometer is used to determine the temperature of a reaction. Also, we have many kinds of thermometers, but the main idea of thermometer is to determine the temperature of anything. The last tool here is flask. The conical flasks used to heat and store liquids. Here is the design of the flask. The bottom is wider than the top, so it will heat up quicker. So now it's clear how the scientists use some tools and their usage as well.
Hi, my name is Mrs. Hampton from Rock Ribbon Elementary. Today we will explore how to measure items using something you see every day, a paperclip. Learning to measure is an important skill because it gives us the ability to compare and describe objects accurately. If we know the length of something, we can easily describe it to someone else, and they will have an accurate picture in their mind. We can also use it to compare the object with other objects. Is it longer or shorter than something else we're familiar with? What if you wanted to measure the length of this red car, but you didn't have a ruler? What if all you had was a paperclip? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4 and a half. About 4.5 paper clips long. Now, what about this music player? How many paper clips long is it compared to the red car? 1, 2 and a half. About 2.5 paper clips long. So it's clear to see that we can measure objects using a variety of measuring tools. Maybe it's a paper clip. You might even use the length of your own foot. Let's see, what are the dimensions of this table using Mrs. Hampton feet? 1 Mrs. Hampton foot, 2 Mrs. Hampton feet, 3 Mrs. Hampton feet, whoa, 4 Mrs. Hampton feet, about 4 Mrs. Hampton feet long. Well, we've done some actual measurement here, but can you think of a drawback to using paper clips or your own foot to make a measurement? Here's a hint. What if someone on the other side of the country wanted to measure her table in Mrs. Hampton feet? How would she do it? Or what if someone measured the length of the red car using a paper clip that was bigger or smaller than the one you used? You would both have made valid measurements, but you'd come up with different numbers. Your own foot and a paper clip are examples of non-standard measurement units. Using our simple system of measuring with a paper clip, we can tell the approximate length of an object or about how long the object is. We can also compare the object with other objects using information that's more accurate than just observing with your eyes. But if someone else wanted to use the same units, the paper clip, for example, we wouldn't know for sure if the paper clip they used was the same size as the one we used. What else could you use to measure? How about your pencil? Using your pencil, measure how many pencils long the top of your desk is. How many pencils tall are you? Can you see the drawback of using your pencil to measure the length of something?
Until next time, I'll be seeing you.
Okay, continue our lesson. So you enjoy the previous videos. We will take in this moment, how do scientists stay safe, which is the second part of our lesson. We will know together what the tools that scientists use to stay safe. When scientists go inside the laboratory and do experiments, they do some tools to stay safe, to protect their body parts. The first tool is the goggles, like we said in the description of goggles and the definitions. They use goggles to protect their eyes from the vapor of the chemicals, and when they heat something, the vapor, you know that the vapor will go upward, so they protect their eyes by using goggles. Also, they can wear mask and put the mask in their nose for not smell any chemicals and vapor of chemicals. They can also wear gloves in their hands to protect their hands as well. They also use lab coat. The lab coat here is a white coat used in the lab to do experiments to protect their clothes and their body as well, for not spilling any material or any chemicals on their body. They also can wear food protection. Food protection to keep their feet away of any harming of chemicals, because scientists may use some chemicals to do experiments. Turning to this video.
Hi, my name is Mrs. Hampton. Today we're going to discuss lab safety while conducting scientific investigations. It's important to know how to conduct science safely so you don't hurt yourself or anyone else. Do you know what this is? You may have seen this in a kitchen or in an art class. This is an apron. An apron protects our clothing from spills. Why would we need an apron during a science investigation? Well, many times during an investigation, we'll be working with chemicals or other liquids that may splash on our clothing. So it's a good idea to wear an apron so we don't stain or damage our clothes with the chemicals that we're using. Another part of the body we need to protect while using chemicals is our eyes. If those chemicals or liquids splash high enough to reach our eyes, we want to make sure that they're covered. What could we use to protect our eyes? Would these work? No, sunglasses protect our eyes from the sun, but won't work so well with chemicals. These are called safety goggles, and they fit tightly around our head so liquids and chemicals are not able to get into our eyes. What else do I need to protect? If I'm working with something hot or strong chemicals, what other part of my body should be covered? That's right, my hands. It's always important to wear plastic gloves to protect our hands from chemicals. If you do happen to get a chemical on your hands, make sure to wash it off right away. Okay, so I have my lab apron to protect my clothes, my safety goggles to protect my eyes, and my plastic gloves to protect my hands. I'm ready to begin my investigation. Whoa! Hold on. What did I forget to do? My hair. It's always important to remember to tie back our hair, because if we're working with a flammable substance and our hair falls into it, our hair could catch on fire. We always want to keep our hair out of chemicals or liquids, and also out of our eyes, so we can work more accurately. The last safety practice we'll talk about is very, very important. After every lab that we do, we must wash our hands with soap and warm water. We want to make sure that any chemicals or other substances that got on our hands during the experiment are washed away down the drain. Today we saw how to protect ourselves during a science investigation using a lab apron, safety goggles, plastic gloves, and a hair tie, and why washing our hands after a lab is so important. Draw a picture of yourself ready to do a science experiment. How many safety items are you wearing? Can you write down why you should wear each item?
Until next time, I'll be seeing you.
So like you see here in the video, you must wash your hand after doing experiment. Okay. We are going to continue our lesson in the first part with the lesson quiz as usual. So we have here to solve this quiz to verify our information, check evaluation, and we will finish our today's lesson. The quiz contains 3 questions, starting with the first question, which is choose the sentence in which word tool is used correctly. We have here 4 choices. We must choose one of these choices, only one, which describe the tool correctly. Tool is something that is used to do work, or tool makes work harder to do, or a scientist may use a tool to be unsafe, or safety goggles are tool used to measure. Excellent. Tool is something that's used to do work, so we have to choose A. Turning to another question. The question is, which tool would you use to time how long an experiment took? To time. So time here means we can use a tool that measure time. Is it stopwatch? Is it ruler? Is it magnet or balance? Yes, excellent. Stopwatch. We can use a stopwatch to measure the time to know how long an experiment took. Turning to the third question and the last one here in our today's lesson, which is about what might a scientist use a magnet for. We use a magnet for what? We use a magnet to protect his or her eyes. The scientist used a magnet to protect his or her eyes, or to measure length, or to see if an object contains metal, or determine how long something takes to happen. We know that metals can attracted to magnet, so we can choose C, which is to see if an object contains metals. That's right. So we are going to check our answer. When we press submit test, we are going to check our answer. So the 3 questions are correct. So this is the end of our today's lesson. I hope you enjoyed the lesson, and my advice for you is to study well and stay safe at your home. Allah preserves you all and your nation as well. Thank you very much. See you again in next video, inshallah.